Hey there, gang. It is time for another comic book unboxing video, and this one is a little different. This is a different kind of mystery box. So what do I mean by that? Well, I'll explain on the other side of the intro, but if you like comic books, stick around. We're going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghai. My name is Duke, and this is an unboxing video. And it is a little different kind of an unboxing video. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's very much like the last couple of videos that we've done. So I guess it's not that different at all, really. But well, if you've seen some of these videos before, you'll know what I normally do. If you're new here, I'll explain as briefly as I can. This is the deal. I work for a company called Vintage Comic Books LLC, and we buy comic book collections from all over the world. They come into our warehouse in Freeport, Maine, and then they get divvied up into different sales streams depending on what they are. The big books will go off to CGC, where they'll get, quote unquote, professionally graded and slabbed and encapsulated for preservation. And those get sold on a website called comiclink.com, which is also based here in Maine. It's a third-party vendor. It's a different company, but they are based here in Portland, Maine, just a stone's throw away from Freeport. And then some of the books will end up in our retail store, which is .com Comics, also in Freeport, Maine. And speaking of a stone's throw, you can just about throw a rock and hit the LL Bean flagship store from our store. But most of the things, I would say about 85%, those end up on eBay. Oh, I forgot to mention there's two websites. .comcomics.com associated with the retail store, and then sellmycomicbooks.com, which is counterintuitively the vehicle that we use to actually buy comic books. So anyway, both of those have web stores, and some books end up there. But as I said, about 80-85% of everything that we sell goes out on eBay, either in multi-book lots, in fixed price lots, or as what we call raw singles, a one-issue lot of a graded book. That's my job. I'm the guy who does the grading. So if you buy a book from us and you don't like the grade, I'm the one you're mad at. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So normally, when I get one of these boxes, the owner has chosen what's going to be a raw single and gives me the box, and I have no idea what is in it, and it can be almost anything, because it will be parsed from several different collections that have come from really literally all over the world. So like I said, normally no idea what's in the box, but this time I do have an idea, because I'm the one who put these books in the box. And as I explained in a recent video, we had somebody we unfortunately recently had to let go, and he was handling our fixed price listings. And I was given the job of sort of fixing those listings, because some of them were a little weird, and some of them were books that have been up there for literally like 2 years. And so I tried to fix them, and it got to be, just too convoluted, too much of a mess. So I just decided to take everything down and start all over. And so I pulled all of the books from our shipping area and found a bunch of books that we're going to look at in this box in sort of two flavors. There are books that you're going to see the labels on them. They've got a grade. It's a book that I have previously graded. Somehow they got mixed in with the lot numbers for the fixed price sales, and apparently never actually got posted to eBay. So they worked all the way through the process, but then nothing happened. So you'll see they've got grades on them, and I pretty much have to go through and regrade, because they've been sitting in those shipping bins for sometimes up to a year or more. 2 years could be, based on the look of the labels, just sort of my ballpark. And then we'll see some other things that you'll see that don't have a grade on them. They've got a label but no grade, and those appear to be books that were put up as fixed price items, as single issue fixed price items, and didn't sell, either because the guy we let go had put too high a price on it, or in some cases maybe had put too low a price. Somebody sees a Silver Age book for $3.99, they wonder what's wrong with it, and they're not going to pay $7.50 in shipping to get a book that's only valued at $3. So I have to grade those books up. So anyway, I tried to get through that as quick as I could, but that's the deal. So let's not waste any more time. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the groovy things, help this channel grow. And speaking of growth, we are in the drive for 500. And when I get to 500 subscribers, I will be giving away 2 Bronze Age mystery boxes, a set of 10 Bronze Age books, possibly 11, and there will be 2 boxes, so 2 separate drawings that I'll conduct once I get to 500 subscribers. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment. Anything, rather you just answer a question I've got in this video, or want to comment on the books, or just tell me how stupid I am. That's okay. I'm tough. I can take it. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and take a look at these books, and we'll have some fun just looking at and chatting about some old comic books. So yeah, this is Rip Hunter Time Master number 6. Looks like I had graded it at 3.5. And again, I'm going to have to take all these out, check them, make sure the grade still kind of stands. In most cases, it probably will. Rip Hunter didn't last that long. I think it only lasted about 19 issues, although it was a bi-monthly title, I think. So, that was, a couple of years. But it's really a title that I think should have lasted much longer, should have been much more popular, and I don't know really why it wasn't. I think when I look inside, the art is kind of pedestrian, so I think if it had had a better, more exciting artist, maybe that would have helped it. Here is Sea Devils, and this has got a wash tone cover. A lot of books around this time from DC, they did this kind of wash tone, kind of grayscale effect that sort of gave it the look of a painted cover, such as you might have seen from a Dell comic book. And these are very popular. There are collectors who just really go after these wash tone covers. So anyway, that's Sea Devils number 1, actually. Wow. So that should do really, really well. And like I said, these can't be books that were posted to eBay and then didn't sell, because I can't believe nobody bid on Sea Devils number 1 in, even in 3.5. And we don't seem to have any record of it having been returned. It appears to have just been mixed in with those fixed price books that this particular guy had done and then never actually got posted for some reason. So I don't know. But there it is. That's Sea Devils number 1. And you'll notice there's no number 1 on the cover. Number 1s were frowned upon. It's hard to believe, in the current market, but back in this time, boy, a number 1 was like a death sentence, because people wouldn't put it out. The distributor didn't want to carry it because it was an untested product. Retailers didn't want to, put it out because, why waste the rack space, which is, limited and at a premium anyway, on something that, again, has no track record. You've got no idea how it's going to sell. But anyway, there's that. Oh, wow. Speaking of Dell, Brain Boy. This is actually a 4-color book. That's 4-color 1,330. 4-color, they weren't exactly monthly. They were pumping those books out just as fast as they could. They would actually come out sort of as they were finished. So you might get, 1,334 might have actually been out on the stands before this one. But yeah, Brain Boy. He looks more than a boy, doesn't he? And it always amazes me. I watch things on TV or streaming or rentals, whatever, from the 60s, 50s, and everybody looks so old to me. And then, sometimes it's fun just, an old TV show, you look it up on Wikipedia or whatever just to see who's still alive. And, most of these people who look so old, they're just in their 20s, 30s. People who look ancient are only in their 50s. It blows my mind, actually, the Brady Bunch, the father, Robert Reed, who I sort of grew up with watching the Brady Bunch after school, who's kind of almost a surrogate father to me. It blows my mind to think back now and realize that, again, even though I still think of him as a father, he was, when he did that, half the age I am now. So anyway, that's and if you are new to these videos, I do this. I ramble. I'm all over the map. So it's part of the joy, I guess, of what makes these videos what they are. But yeah, that's kind of an older looking Brain Boy. I would tend to call him Brain Man. Because I mean, look at the wrinkles in the forehead here. I mean, he looks very concerned. He's really concentrating on trying, to not fall out of the sky. I believe Brain Boy's power was telekinesis, and I don't think he had telepathic powers. I don't really remember. But anyway, here's another Brain Boy, and this is Brain Boy number 3. So he's graduated from 4-Color, which was kind of a tryout, one-shot series. But he graduated into his own book, and here he's again levitating, fighting dinosaurs this time. So that's kind of cool. Brain Boy number 3. And again, no grade. Oh, no, there is a grade. So can't tell you why that wouldn't have sold. It just must have never gone up. Here's another Brain Boy, number 4. He's looking a little bit more boyish here. And look at this, he's got a Legion time bubble, so wouldn't it have been cool if Brain Boy had joined the Legion of Superheroes? Here's Flash number 145. I don't see a grade on it, but look at all the damage that's listed. So this one can't grade very high. That's not a very good drawing, actually. It's not in proportion, which, is kind of not what you would expect of Carmine Infantino. But look at that. It's not like how the camera is angled or how I'm holding it. He's really out of proportion. The top half of the body is way too big for the bottom half. That's weird. And again, not a mistake you would expect Carmine Infantino to make. Challengers of the Unknown. Challengers really doesn't sell that well for us. It never does that well, except for maybe the first 20 issues or so. This is issue 25, and it was graded as a 5. It actually looks a little better than that in the bag. We'll have to take it out and check it out, but that one might do okay. I don't remember their space pet Cosmo, though, so I don't think Cosmo stuck around for very long. Do you remember the Challenger space pet Cosmo? Huh. He looks like a Hukka. If you've ever read Atari Force, he kind of looks like the Hukka. And if you haven't read Atari Force, you should. That's a great series. Much later than this. That's from the 80s. Fantastic Four 45, Among Us Hide the Inhumans, with the Marvel Pop Art Productions logo that only lasted about 3 months. Here's a World's Finest Comics number 119, featuring Tiger Man, who, in addition to having stripes, of course, Silver Age Comics had to have a great big giant T on his chest, and also, just so he didn't forget what letter his name started with, a little T on the belt buckle. I love Silver Age Comics. This is a Whitman. I have no idea what issue number this is. The Whitmans didn't say, but Whitman was an imprint of Western Publishing who did Gold Key Comics. And they licensed books from DC, Marvel, other publishers too, I think. And then, of course, their own Gold Key Comics. And the books that they sold not on the newsstand, but into department stores, which, usually in 3-packs, and they weren't returnable. So to make sure that they didn't get returned with newsstand books, they gave them a different label, which was the Whitman label. And it's funny, and this is obviously not Action Comics number 1. I don't know what he was thinking here. This is pre-500. This is probably somewhere in the 490s. But when I was a younger man, through the 80s and 90s, oh, you hated to get a Whitman. You'd be at an auction or a flea market or something, going through, comic books, and you'd be excited to see, a cover that you knew you didn't have. And of course, you didn't have, those days, you didn't have like you do now, internet resources. Everything was analog. You had your whatever pictures you got every year in the Overstreet Price Guide. But beyond that, you didn't have, every cover to every book ever published right at your fingertips. So you wouldn't really know what, if you're missing an issue number, which in the newsstand days, it was easy to miss an issue. You wouldn't really know what that cover looked like. You would just be, again, looking through books at a flea sale or a yard sale or something, and you'd see a cover you didn't recognize, and you'd be like, oh, that might be one I don't have. Sometimes you end up buying one you already have because you forgot about it. But you'd see that Whitman logo and you'd be like, oh, fuck, do I even want to buy that? That's crap. It's not even a real comic book. It's just a reprint. It's crap. But these days, Whitmans are highly valued because they're much harder to find, and they're much more rare. Well, I won't say they were limited in circulation, as compared to the newsstand, but they certainly survived in far lower numbers and survived in high grade in far lower numbers. So these days, a Whitman book is worth, oh gosh, generally about twice what the regular issue is. So yeah, that should do okay, even as it looks to be in maybe about mid-grade or so. All right. I don't know what that is. That's just a random backing board. All right, here we have Batman White Knights #4. So that's a recent book, but it's signed by Sean Gordon Murphy. So these books are about a year and a half old or so, because it was about a year and a half or so that he was in our store. Sean Gordon Murphy lives in Portland, Maine, and or at least he did. And he was into our store. He came in with another fellow and was kind enough to sign some books. So these would have done well, I think, if they had gone up. I'm sorry and surprised they didn't. Sean didn't really, I met Sean. He didn't really seem that impressed with me, but I'm not that impressive. So, he was just pretty much, hi, how are you? He had other things to do. He was dealing with the other folks who were trying to get him to sign the books, and the guy he was with who was kind of giving him a tour. So here's White Knights #6, also signed by Sean Gordon Murphy. That's a short little name for 3 names, a short little signature, I should say, for 3 names. And here is, not that I'm criticizing his signature, mind you, and here is #8. It says 9.6, but that's probably a little lower now. But that's also signed by Sean Gordon Murphy. So, I don't do these unboxings necessarily as a promo for the eBay sales, but if you are so inclined, it's something you might want to look out for. Usually, it's about a week or so after I do an unboxing video. It'll work through the process. It'll go to another guy who does the actual listings and scans the books. About a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks later, you should see these up on eBay. I do these videos really just to share the love and joy of comic books, and that kind of gosh wow excitement I got from a kid going to the newsstand and never knowing what I was going to find, because I never know what I'm going to find in one of these boxes, such as, boom, boom, Defenders #1. Look at that. Pretty good shape, too. 6.0, it says on the label. And this is before my time. I probably came in around issue 40-something. So Namor was gone by then. Doctor Strange was only around every now and again, and even the Hulk wasn't in every issue. So my Defenders are Valkyrie and Hellcat and Nighthawk. There's #1. Here is, and again, a Marvel pop art production. So like I said, that only lasted about 3 months or so. And that's #120, Journey into Mystery. Looks like it's a low grade. Fantastic Four King Size Annual, or King Size Special #4. Here's Star Wars #2, and that is the regular newsstand copy. The first 6 issues of Star Wars were heavily reprinted as Whitmans, only unlike the DC that those books said Whitman right on them. When Whitman did Marvel books, they didn't carry the Whitman logo on them. So there are little subtle ways that you can tell one of those first 6 Star Wars books a Whitman book from a regular edition. And this one is a regular edition. Here's Amazing Spider-Man #109 and 4.0 with Doctor Strange. ASM 110 with the Gibbon. just a random backing board in there. Walt Disney's Comics and Stories, number 195. 8.5 qualified, fold lower right front cover. Oh, right there. Huh. Well, there. What do you think of that? And, you know, you want to be careful because, you know, if you're like strictly a superhero collector and you might run across some of these Gold Key, Donald Duck, Bugs Bunny kind of comic books from this 30, 35, 40 cent era, and you might be tempted to just, you know, chuck them, give them away or whatever. Well, some of the latter Gold Keys and the Whitmans, because again, these came in a Whitman version, they're worth hundreds of dollars because very low circulation on some of the latter books from the early 80s and late 70s. And so I don't know, I'll have to look this up, but I mean this could be one of them that's worth, you know, $300 or $400. I don't know. Uncanny X-Men 282, First Bishop. Here's a grading sheet. House of Mystery 144 with John Johns, the Martian Manhunter. I don't know. That series never really took off. He was in House of Mystery for a fair while. I don't know. Maybe if it, you know, if they had just minimized the House of Mystery logo and given old John his own logo, or a better name, or powers that made more sense. Because there was a thing about Martian Manhunters; he could do anything, you know. And he was, you know, his weakness was fire, which made no sense. Journey into Mystery number 106. There's an early Thor. TV screen cartoons. What do you think of that? Fox and the Crow, licensed from Columbia Pictures. That's number 130. Here is Detective Comics 600. Very nice. Sam Hamm. And Sam Hamm is back. Now, this is from way back in 1989, but Sam Hamm, which is just fun to say. Sam Hamm, Sam Hamm. Sam Hamm. What's that Muppet routine? Sam Hamm, Sam Hamm, Sam. Sam Hamm, Sam Hamm, Sam. This was right after the Batman movies. Sam Hamm wrote the Batman movies, and the reason I note this is he's back starting in August. There's going to be a Batman 89 title, Batman 1989 title from DC Comics, and it'll be picking up from where those Tim Burton movies left off, and it will be written by Sam Hamm. Here is Marvel 2-in-1, number 1, Thing versus Man-Thing, who is brown in this outing. Usually he's a little more green. Amazing Spider-Man 107. I get a feeling I'm going to have to split this box in two. And that's probably what we'll do. We'll get 2 videos out of this box. I'm only going to get about halfway, and I'm not even quite a third at this point. Nancy, number 18, United Feature. And you know, I indexed a couple of these books for the Grand Comics database, the GCD, comics.org. And I always thought it was United Features, plural. And I got kind of corrected when I did the index that it's actually singular. The actual name of the company is United Feature Syndicate, which doesn't make a lot of sense because what, they syndicate one feature? You would think it would be features, but the actual name is United Feature Singular. But anyway, there's Nancy. Nancy sells crap for us. That'll go for like $2. Unless it has some peanuts in it. There are some, well, I don't know if there's any Nancy books, but there are some Tip Top Comics issues that have some very early Peanuts, Charlie Brown and the Gang in them. And the Nancy connection there is that Nancy was the cover feature on Tip Top. Here's NYX number 1, fairly recent book from 2003. It says it's a 9.0. This series is mostly famous for being the debut of X-23, the young Wolverine girl, Wolverine-esque, Lady Wolverine, whatever you want to call her. I think she came along in issue 3. Here's issue 2. Guess we don't have 3. Amazing Spider-Man 375. Nice gold cover. Nice. See how that reflects for you. Infinity Gauntlet number 1. Well, that's fun. That's fun. We've got certainly got our full of the Infinity Gauntlet recently through the movies. Thor number 160. Galactus. More Galactus. Galactus Aborning. 162. Here's a fairly early Spidey, ASM 31. So that has some nice Ditko art in it. This book's a little rough, and it's a pop art book. Here's number 49, Kraven and the Vulture, or one of the Vultures anyway. Oh, wow, look at this. Amazing Spider-Man number 10. Now, it says 2.0, but I'm thinking it's going to be a little less than that. We got this big old letter B somebody's written here in marker. Big old fold there, and look at that rip. It's about an 1.5 inch rip right there. But Amazing Spider-Man number 10. That's sweet. Super sweet. Huh. There's some Joker. Got a Joker series out now. I stopped buying the Joker because it went up to $5.99. I'm not paying $6 for a 40-page comic book. I'd rather buy 6 books out of the dollar bins. But this is the title the Joker had in the 70s. It only lasted 9 issues. Hard job to make a title out of a villain, especially back in these days when the Comics Code Authority was still in, I won't say full force, but, it still was pretty overbearing in that, the criminal always had to lose at the end of every story, had to pay the price, so it was kind of hard to get any kind of momentum, get any steam going with the Joker. Here's Daredevil number 163. Back to House of Mystery. This is number 112. This is before John Jones. How do you say it? Do you just say John Jones? As a kid, I interpreted the apostrophe as almost a hiccup, so I used to say it Johns, or you just call him the Martian Manhunter. That's easy too. Hey, giant squid. This squid looks sad. He's a sad squid. Oh, you poor squid. Oh. Anyway, Water Beast versus Bird Beast. Prisoner of Beast Asteroid. My goodness. That's House of Mystery 113. New Mutants 26. First Warlock, First Legion, First Somebody. Bill, here's another thing. How do you pronounce it? Bill, I think I've heard people, watching the Comic Book Aficionados, which, by the way, is every Saturday at 10 a.m. on the Thinking Critical with Wes YouTube channel. I think they pronounced it, I heard somebody pronounce it Sienkiewicz, but as a kid, I always pronounced it Sinkowitz. So, what do I know? Here's the first issue of the first Swamp Thing series, so that's cool. Nice Bernie Wrightston cover. Here's Spider-Man 26 with the hologram. I don't know if I hold that just right, if you can actually see Spidey on there or not. All right, we will make this next stack the last stack for this video. That'll bring us to about halfway through the box, and then we will we'll hit stop, and we will we'll call it there for today. Well, not for today, for this video. So here is X-Men and the Micronauts number 1. This doesn't do well for us at all. This never sells well, either as a complete series or a single. So I'm probably going to pull this from the single stream, and I'll put it in some kind of multi-book lot. Or if I can find the rest of the run, maybe I'll make a fixed price lot out of it. But the Micronauts is great. If you ever get your hands on the Micronauts series from Marvel, do yourself a favor and buy that. Here's Captain Marvel 33. I don't know if that's the first Thanos cover or not, but somewhere in this run is some early Thanos. Ghost Rider number 81. That's the last issue of the first Johnny Blaze series. Marvel had a Western-themed Ghost Rider back in the 50s or 60s. That's the last of the Johnny Blaze Volume 1. Walking Dead 65. So there you go. There it is. I don't know if something special happens in that issue. Walking Dead 72. I checked out on the Walking Dead series several years ago. At about the point they snuck into that radio tower and murdered all those people in their sleep, I was like, okay, they've gone over to the dark side. These are not people I'm interested in following anymore. These are not the heroes. You know, even understanding, you know, in grim times you need to do grim things, but I was like, yeah, I'll find something else. Tales of Suspense 83. Here's Doc Savage. Marvel had a Doc Savage series here in the 70s. Fantastic Four number 53. Second Black Panther and the first appearance of the Claw. Werewolf by Night number 1. That's a fun book. Yes, indeed. Not his first appearance. He first appeared in Marvel Spotlight. Forget the issue number. But still, very nice. Here's Thor number 132. Action Comics number 306. Oh no, Kryptonite. Action Comics 343. Eterno. Gigantic Immortal. More powerful than Superman himself. There's another one with a giant upper body, and of course this could be due to the foreshortening effect, but little tiny legs. Great big giant upper body. Here is Adventure Comics 309 with the Legion of Super Monsters. Legion of Superheroes was kind of the backup feature at this point, but they would pretty quickly take over the lead spot. That's cool. Amazing Spider-Man 53. Detective Comics number 370. The day Batman turned the other cheek. I like how he's punching him and just ripping the hell out of his suit just from the punching. Here's Detective Comics number 372. Is that a Neil Adams cover? That is some contorted body posture. Wow. Just a couple of grading sheets. And the last book here in this half of the box, Captain America number 115, and there's the Red Skull with the Cosmic Cube. Now begins the nightmare. Well, on that note, come back tomorrow. We will finish up this box. Tomorrow for you, it's only going to be a couple of minutes for me. But until we meet again, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.